Awesome. So now you have the plant in the ground. We kind of already talked a little bit about fertilizers. Let's get into the harvesting and redding process. I'll have maybe Jeff, if you want to jump in on this, or Jarett, do you want to start with the harvesting?
I'd like to start with Jeff, because talking about the harvesting the grain, and then if growers elect to do the dual crop, so harvest the grain first, and what, because that's a new area that Kifcure is just getting into. Last year and the last 2 years, we've only harvested for the fiber. This year we will be having a much greater focus with Jeff's genetics and to grow a lot more grain. So on the dual crop or just single crop, if you're just harvesting for the grain itself, that's where I'd be very curious to hear Jeff's perspective.
Yeah, I'll give you the Coles notes, essentially the 1,000-foot level. We could be here for some time, but essentially what we found, and when we first started harvesting hemp in Canada, we got these European varieties. They were all like 16, 17 foot tall. We thought, okay, well, we got to let them mature like wheat, and so they're going to be dead ripe. And we burnt so many damn combines here. That was not the answer. What we want to do is try to maximize the yield. So the grain is mature for our varieties, let's just say the middle of September, kind of, because it's open pollinated and they're photoperiod sensitive. They're very by the book, essentially. So the grain moisture is usually in that anywhere from 10% up to as high as 19%. You can harvest it and the grain will be mature. You're going to have good germination. The reason that we go at a higher moisture is because the pectin and the lignin within the stalk is still holding those fibers together. So as it goes through the combine and goes through, whether it's the conventional cylinder or a rotor, it kind of stays together. It doesn't just blow up in there and then all those fibers start wrapping on it, on everything. So we found that I target that 12 to 13% grain moisture. And then we have the capacity here, because of our canola crop, to dry that grain down fairly rapidly. We've got aeration and hopper bottom bins, so we throw the air on right away. There's a general rule of thumb that for every horsepower of aeration fan you have, you can put about 200 bushels of hemp in there that will maintain or bring it down. On the food side of things, it's extremely, extremely important not to waste your time getting it from the combine to the bin and getting that aeration on it, because there is no solid kill stop in processing hemp. If we're making hemp hearts, we basically take that hemp seed from the farmer's bin, we clean all the other inert material out of there, and so we have our hemp heart or hemp seed. We throw it against, or we don't throw it visually, but de-hulling it is basically hitting it against a steel plate, separating the hull from the hearts, and then using a mechanization form to keep them separate. There's no kill stop in there. So whatever's in the bin goes onto the consumer's plate. And so we can have mycotoxins. So it's very important. And I mean, this is a whole different thing that I'd be more than happy to work with your farmers on, when to harvest, how to get it keep it in good shape without those mycotoxins taking hold. Because from the food side of things, if we happen to have too much mold or anything else within that bin, then it goes down to bird seed, which is about half the price of what, at least there is an option there. But really, that's kind of the nutshell of it all. And there's different ways that we can do that. But we use straight cut headers, and harvesting just under where the seed head, is kind of maximized. So sometimes we might have 2 foot of stubble left over. So as you mentioned, Jarett, for that dual purpose, there's still that amount of fiber that's left in the field, but we're just concentrating on taking the least amount of fiber through that combine, just the seed heads, thrashing them out and moving on. So those are kind of the real high level nitty gritty things that we learned that is a must, I guess, for successful hemp harvesting with a combine. And most colors of combines work. There's certain ones that have areas of difficulty that I can certainly point out to people where to look for slight modifications. But as I said, most combines are nowadays are more than prepared to handle a hemp harvest. It's not a lot of biomass going through there. It's just tough biomass and making sure that certain areas might just need some covering, but it's very doable. We do it all the time here. So it's something that I know farmers are scared of, but they shouldn't be too much. Getting the right genetics in the right spot, timing, and you're off to the races.
All right.
The size of the plant matters, correct? Because you can't have it grow too tall to get those headers up that high.
I mean, you can put a header really high now. Like I can harvest a 20-foot crop. I don't want to harvest a 20-foot crop though. I know I'm going to have wrapping issues where I never had. Most of our stuff now, and what I try to put in the hands of the farmers is something that's about 5 to 6 foot tall. And so we've got good weed suppression and and biomass, but it's not too tall that you're going to have issues. And so, I mean, I have it's a Claus combine, a 670, 40-foot Macdon straight cut header, and I'm going 4 miles an hour without any problems in my hemp crop. So there's definitely ways that you can make it work and go quickly.